Howdy, everybody, and welcome back to Chill with Clayton. We are so happy that y'all are here on today's episode. We're going to be talking about a very serious topic that unfortunately has been happening here in Central Texas. We're going to be talking about the sorry, got to take a moment to just take a pause here, but we're going to be talking about the Central Texas floods that have unfortunately been happening in the last couple of weeks. As a lot of y'all know, there has been a very bad and deadly flood that has gone through Kerr County in Texas, especially in the cities of Kerrville, Round Rock area, near Austin. And it's just unfortunate about what's going on. Getting into the numbers. By the way, if anyone is watching from that area in Kerrville, I just want to send out my warmest regards, prayers, and thoughts to y'all, because I just can't think of like what y'all are going through right now. And we're going to be talking about today why bad things have happened to good people. Because I know there's a lot of y'all out there going like, why God? Why is this going on? Why is this happening? Why in the world is there a flood going on through Central Texas at this moment in time? Thankfully, the rain stopped, but why did that have to happen? Why did that have to happen? Well, I might not have the most clear-cut answer for it, but I'm going to use scripture and try to explain it the best of my abilities. And by the way, the other things that have been going on as well, I mean, folks, can we just please pray for the victims? Let's not worry about anything else. That's all I'll say about those topics. You can go from that as you please, because you can probably inference about what I'm talking about there. But getting into the numbers though, over 107 people have died from this horrible flood here in Kerr County of Texas. There's still over 230 people missing at this time, and it's very, very just sad times right now over there. I especially want to send out my heart to Camp Mystic, which is an all-girls exclusive camp. Just knowing that over 20 campers have unfortunately lost their lives. And by the way, we have been recently now been seeing videos of what happened last week at Camp Mystic, and just seeing those little girls just going through life, and they were just having a happy, good time. And they didn't know that on 4th of July, or the day before 4th of July, that their lives would be forever changed. Because those girls are now going to be dealing with that for the rest of their lives. It's kind of crazy to think about that right now. As a camp counselor myself, because I counseled with 7th grade boys, as I told y'all before in a couple weeks ago episode when I went to camp, this hit me like a freight train. Because being a future kids minister, this was just something I just couldn't bear myself looking at. I mean, when you see the pictures, and I'll let my editor, Mike, he'll show some photos in this video, and I'm pretty sure you all have seen the photos, but it is just absolutely heartbreaking of what has happened in Central Texas. And there are other things that are also around there. I mean, RVs that have been floated away, travel trailers, people that just went camping for the 4th of July, going to the lake. They've unfortunately lost their lives. And then we've had others from around the country. We've had kids from Alabama, I've heard. North Texas kids that unfortunately lost their lives. I also want to mention about Jamie Hunt, who is, the niece of Kansas City Chiefs owner Clark Hunt. And it's so awesome to see Texans just stepping up. It reminds me a lot of the 2017 floods and all that. But yeah, it's kind of crazy about like what has happened recently at this time. So sorry about that, folks. There's some bugs flying around me, so I just got to deal with it. But that's why I'm swatting. So just letting y'all know. But as I was saying, yeah, it's just crazy. But enough jibber jabbering for me. Let's get ahead and go on with our Bible verses and stories today. So, folks, if you do want to donate to the relief efforts for Central Texas, we're going to have a few links popping up if you're wanting to give to the relief efforts, please do. And we're praying for y'all. So let's get into the topics of what I'm going to be talking about on why bad things happen to good people. We're first going to start off with a story that I'm pretty sure most of y'all know of, or at least is one of the most famous stories of suffering, and that is the story of Job. Now, Job was a very righteous man, was a very rich man as well. But the devil came to God and he said, hey, I need to make his life just absolutely terrible. And God goes, okay, go right ahead then. And you might be going at it like, what in the heck is God trying to make this happen like that? The thing was, with Job, it was a testing of his faith. We're all going to have our testing of faith. I've definitely had that testing of faith myself with this whole thing. Hearing about innocent kids getting just killed by a flood. But with Job, he lost his family. He lost all his livestock and everything. He lost everything. His wife. He lost it all. And, oh man, it's a very tough thing. One verse that I would tell you about, and Mike, you can put this in here, 1 Peter 1:6-7 really explains it very well, but if you really want to learn more about the story of Job, 1 Peter 1:6-7 will be very helpful in that, and God unfortunately does that to test our faith. When Jesus was on the cross, moving on to our next reason why it happens is because we have to suffer because we live in a broken world. And I think definitely that is why, unfortunately, those things happen. Because God was a perfect man. He was an absolutely perfect person. Perfect. But people saw this and wanted to kill him, which is just absolutely insane to think about at this time. But God, Jesus specifically, when he's on the cross and you could just see the blood pouring down him, he's like nailed to the cross like this. He goes, God, my Father, why have you forsaken me? And unfortunately at that time, he was so filled up with sin that God had to let him go. Like, he had to let him go because Jesus knew that he could be the only one that could sacrifice for us. The only one who could sacrifice for us. And unfortunately, that is because of the consequences we have from Adam and Eve. But y'all know that story very well, and you don't need me to explain that. But yeah, unfortunately, suffering has to happen due to living in a broken world, and that's why I think a lot of the stuff on the world goes around like today. Moving on, it's also for spiritual growth. 2 Corinthians 1:4 really mentions that well. Paul says that this would happen in meanings of helping others who deal with the same thing. So like if you're dealing with a lust addiction or a alcohol addiction or procrastination or whatever it is. Sorry, folks. We're supposed to be there. We're supposed to bear each other's burdens. Like I showed y'all last week in our verse of the day on last week's episode when I was talking about anxiety. I mean, it just helps that we bear each other's burdens because brothers need to bear each other's burdens. Sisters need to bear each other's burdens because that is what God called us for. He called us for community, and we just need those people to help us out. It's also to bring more trust between you and God because my former Sunday teacher, unfortunately I don't go to the Sunday class anymore because I'm helping with 3-year-olds at 11 and then go into service at 9:30. But shout out to Mr. Rich here. He would always say that every morning it feels like God says, do you trust me? And at that time, that hit me like a load of bricks because you're like, man, that's honestly a great question. And going into that, we talk about Romans 8:28, and it says, and to mention it, it's God, he's sovereign. Even in our suffering, God can show us positive outcomes in difficult situations. My family, unfortunately, had to go through a season of homelessness, which is crazy to think. But God used that to our advantage to meet people. He still gave me opportunities to go to camp thanks to people's generosity. And it was just so thankful to see that happen. And I was just so thankful for God to give me those positive outcomes in those difficult situations. So if you're going through a difficult situation, God will give you a positive outcome. It might not be the outcome you want, but if it's still positive, that is from God. Moving on, suffering is to bring glory to God. Think of the blind man, in this case from John 9:1-3. This blind man, he was born blind. And Jesus comes up to him and he's like, hey, like, we want to do something with you. And it's just an amazing story. Go read it for yourself. So even though we have suffering, we might not know of the purpose why it happens. But there's reasons why that could be happening. There could be a special needs kid that could be the biggest preacher ever. There could be someone who has dyslexia but knows what they're doing. God is so cool about giving people these different, like, chances at life and doing that. It's so crazy to think about it. And I think about it myself and I go, like, wow, like, God can use that person. For example, I don't know if any of y'all have heard of this guy, but his name is Nick Vucicic, I hope I said that correctly. But he's an Australian-American pastor. He has no arms or legs, but he still goes out and delivers sermons. That is pretty stinking awesome, how he does that. So, like, what a cool moment that is. And then for people who are going like, Jesus said he wasn't going to flood the earth. Well, yes, that is very true. But unfortunately, due to our stuff that happens in our real life, floods are still going to happen. It's not going to be the entire earth, but it's, fortunately, could be some specific parts. You really don't know, because unfortunately our world is so broken. That's going to happen when you least expect it, or when you expect it. I mean, you just have to be standing and ready with God and have a strong and firm foundation. God says to build your house on the rock. The rock will never go away. The Lord's going to stand with you all the time. Even when you're suffering, God will be there with you. If it's cancer, anything like that, addiction, cancer, whatever negative thing you can think of, God will get you out of it. God gets us out of pits, and he's not going to stop, because he loves us so much that he wants us up there in heaven with him. So unfortunately, we have to suffer just like he did, because he says that you're unfortunately going to have to go through what I did, because people didn't like me. And in your life, you're going to see people don't like you. They're going to have the different opinions of you. But just remember the true ending of this. You'll be in heaven forever with God. Yeah. So now let's move on to the Bible verses. All right, folks. We're going to now talk about some Bible verses that help us along the way with this. My editor, Mike, he will put the verse right beside me or wherever on the screen. I have no idea where he's going to have it, but some of the Bible verses today are 1 Peter 3:14, 2 Corinthians 4:17, James 1:12, and John 13:7. Those verses you can go read yourself, and you can look those up. Those also have to do with our, just how it has to deal with suffering and how God will help us through that. But my verse of the day today comes from the book of John, chapter 16, verse 33, and here it is. I've told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. So what this means is trouble's going to come no matter what. Unfortunately, it's confirmed. God confirmed it to us. Life is not easy. But the thing is when you have that foundation with God on the rock, God has overcome the world. He already went to the cross. He's already saved us from our sins. The thing is, the ball's in your corner now. Because if you want to be saved by God, you got to admit that you're a sinner, believe that Jesus Christ rose from the dead, and confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord. By the way, that's the ABCs, by the way, for saving. Now remember, my prayer cannot save you. Your pastor's prayer cannot save you. It's between you and God. So, I just challenge you that. Because God said, and I'm not trying to freak out anybody on this, but our time, we don't know when it will end. And it's not to scare y'all, it's just to give y'all the warning. Because God gave some time to these campers, and I know some of y'all might think it's a little too short, but God might have seen something, and maybe he was ready to bring them home. We don't know what God is thinking. We really don't. I mean, he's an all-powerful being, and we really don't know. God is so big, it's like bigger than the whole dang planet. But, as I'm saying here, you will still have peace. God will still give you peace. Even though you might not know what the heck's going on, God will still give you peace in those moments. And I know it sounds far-fetched. I know it sounds crazy. But God has overcome this world. He has. It might not feel like it, but he has. He is coming back. He will ride again. And everybody's going to rejoice. Especially, or if you're a Christ follower, of course. But if you're not, fortunately, time's up. And like I said, it's not to scare you. It's just to pre-warn you because it's the truth. The Bible's the truth, and the truth will set you free. So, that is that. But, folks, that is the end of our episode. Remember to give our channel a like and subscribe. If you want to hear more real talks like this, please put that down in the comments below, and we'd love to see what y'all recommend for us, because hey, we'd love to see what your comments are, because we want to show your topics on this show. And hey, if you know somebody that would be really cool for us to interview, hey, we're going to very soon, be dropping in something that will help y'all out with that. But if you're from the local DFW area, hey, I'll give y'all soon an opportunity to hit me up on my channel, and you can try to do that, and we can see if we can get you on the interview. But the next few weeks, we're probably going to do some more solos, and then we're actually going to have a guest next week. We're going to be welcoming Stephanie Lidstrom here. She is a fellow colleague of our editor, Mike. She's going to be graduating this year from the University of North Texas, so go me and green on that one. But she is a working actress as well. And so it's going to be really, really cool to interview her and just see what her story about Christ is in her life. And I'm so excited to say that. It's going to be a really cool episode that we got coming up for y'all next week. Folks, I'm praying for y'all, Central Texas, Kerr County. We're with you today. And in honor of that, a special, don't mess with Texas. Keep Jesus first. God bless y'all. I'll see y'all next week. Adios. And have a blessed day.